Hey everyone, how's it going? Shuffle's back here with another video, and we got a bit of a special one for you guys today. We are going to do RTA Fight of the Night, but I was part of the Xiangcai tournament yesterday. We're in the round of 64. We had an elimination fight, and I've been doing the English broadcast for them on stream, which means I'm absolutely exhausted. But I did want to share those fights with you today because I know a lot of you, it was a weird time, especially those of you in North America. I know for me, the stream was from 4 a.m. till like 9 a.m. or 3, yeah, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m. My time. So I know a lot of you missed it. So let's just jump right into my tournament fights. It is a best of three, and the loser is eliminated. So keep that in mind when you are watching the fights, and we'll just jump right into it. Oops. So the person I'm fighting here, I don't know his name, unfortunately. I'm definitely sure that he knows me or knows of me and has some sort of background on how I fight. Also, I'm pretty sure he was watching stream, or someone that from his guild was watching stream and giving him information. Uh, so I did have to keep that in mind in delaying my bans and whatnot. I do decide to go with the crowd pre-ban, with the intention of cleaving. I wasn't actually intending to cleave on first in the first fight, but he banned the FCC. So with both the damage reduction units gone, or the major damage reduction units gone, I decided to go with the Litica. He went with Elena and Arby, and I have no problems cleaving that. So I decided to continue on with my normal cleave. I go with the Oxlots and the Cedom. It's at this point where I'm kind of telegraphing what I'm doing next. If they're watching stream, he can see I want to go Sigrid next. And I really should be more careful about that. And I am more careful about that in the upcoming fights. He does counter with the Sid, who I'm a little worried about because I don't know how fast he is. And then he counters with the Broman, who I'm not really worried about. I'm pretty sure, because I'm intending on bringing a speed imprint. So I do bring the Cern for the speed imprint, and I bring the Sigrid to counter the Arby. And then finally he counters with Sven. Sven, for those of you who don't know, is basically like a Kayron. Um, he puts up skill prevent and then nukes with his skill 3. I decided to go ahead and ban the Sid because I'm not sure who he's going to ban, and I'm worried that if he bans our speed imprint, then we might not outspeed his Sid with our Litica. He decides to ban our Oxlots, leaving the imprint in and our Litica. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna outspeed here, and we should be fine. We're gonna Sigrid the Arby, and then we'll just reset the Sven, and we're good. Or at least that's the plan. So his Broman is very fast. I go ahead, do the strip. Elena boosts. Our CDOM cuts all the way it's supposed to work. She boosts again, and we're gonna pop that Elena and get her out of the way, just because she is up next. So we kill her pretty easily. Now we want to reset the Sven. We get our crit, which puts up skill prevent, but unfortunately we miss this crit here. It gets resisted by what I'm sure is a 0 res Sven, which is a bit of an issue, but as long as we kill the Broman, we're fine. We don't kill, and we get resisted on the bleed, which means the bleed won't be there to kill him. So we've got back-to-back 15% resist there. Sigurd goes into the Oxlots. We do get the kill on the Oxlots with almost 19k. But now, with the Broman still alive, he's going to strip, and we have no way to do anything really to the Sven. We still do have a chance to blind him or attack break him. The blind on the Litica. and the attack break on the Surin, but we get resisted by the Sven again on the blind, and unfortunately Surin is silent, so she can't use her skill 2 attack break, which means he's going to get full power off on his skill 3, and we're dead. So we get triple resisted by the Sven, well, by the combo of Sven and Broman, and we lose the fight. So we're down 1-0, and it's only a best of 3. So we have to win our next 2 in order to advance. So I'm trying to tell Stream what my plan is now. My plan at this point is to not cleave this fight. I'm going to go Bruiser. And then to go back with cleave on the last one, because the cleave should have worked. We just got really unlucky. Um, but I don't want him. Like, if we cleave here, I don't want him to be prepared for the last one, or I don't want him to be prepared for me to cleave. So I want to try and shake things up a little bit. So I go with Bruiser this fight with the intention of going back cleave on the last one. I do lead same bands. I lead with my Alencia. And you can already tell he's a little thrown off, not ready for that. He thought I was going to cleave again. He decides to counter with the Fire Robbie and the Dian, both units that I normally use in this comp, especially if they go heavy bruiser. But he has very little damage reduction, so I'm pretty confident here. I go with my Cecilia. I go with Chu. Couple bruisers, also both very good into Robbie, giving us immunity, giving us damage, also maintaining our skill prevent, or sorry, not our skill prevent, our anti crit. He's having a good long think here about what he wants to do about this. He decides to go with Rylet. I'm really not. I was considering taking Rylet into the Robbie, but I'm really not worried about him here. He goes with Ruel, which is another heal, which means I do want to bring some sustain. He's got too much sustain for me not to bring any. So I go with the Maid Chloe. Maid Chloe great into this team. And then I wrap up with, well, I was torn whether we go SSB or Spectre. We could have gone Spectre there, but because I didn't know what he was going to do last pick, I decided to go the SSB. We do have attack buff. And then he goes with the haste, and that's the reason why. I didn't want to. I wasn't sure if I was going to be forced into a ban at the end because I had taken the maid, and I assumed that because I took the maid relatively well before he took his last pick, he could counter with haste. So we ban the haste. He waits down the entire clock to see what I ban first. I should have blocked the bans. I was blocking the bans for everybody else's fights except for my own. Um, I don't know why. I just forgot. But it gave him time to see what I was banning first. So once we banned the haste, he banned the maid, which kind of sucks. That's my own fault for not blocking ban, because there's no way he bans maid there after taking haste normally. So he gets first turn. It's a very fast DN. The DN being fast is actually kind of good for us because our strip, Alencia, is pretty fast as well. But she's going to go and be able to strip that off. He does get second turn with the Rylet and decides to go into the Cecilia. I think his thought process was if he goes into the Cecilia, he can then hit with the Ravi as well and potentially kill her, whereas he wouldn't be able to do that to the SSB, even though the SSB is squishier because the Ravi is opposite element. But either way, I get the strip on the Ravi. I don't get it on anybody else, which sucks. Um, then we come in with the Cecilia. We do triple crit, two of them into anti-crit. Unfortunately, we only get the one provoke, which happens to be on the DN. Uh, but he ends up going into the Cecilia with skill 1 anyway, so it doesn't really matter that we didn't get it. And then our Chu can put up anti-crit, and we're back in a decent spot. Granted, our SSB is at half health, but we're not in a terrible spot here. We've chunked him pretty good, and we have anti-crit and defense buff and immunity. He goes ahead, cleanses and heals the DN so she can put up her skill 2, get the mini heal off with Rod, and now we get a chance to use our SSB. We don't have the attack buff because Maid was banned, and we miss on the Rylet, which is unfortunate, but we do get the buff block and heal block on the Ravi, which is really helpful. My plan is to hit her with the Chu, so I do that into the DN in the hopes that I can get next turn. I didn't want to boost the Ravi there. He goes into the SSB. He gets the crit on the SSB through anti-crit, but it does trigger our counter, which then triggers his counter. Thankfully, his counter doesn't crit and doesn't do much to the Alencia. And now that Ravi is really low. She doesn't do much. And we already had Mind's Eye, that's why he hit her again. We can go ahead with our skill 2 here, trying to get a strip on somebody. We finally land an attack on the Rylet, but he resists the strip. You're starting to notice a theme here. Everything got resisted in this tournament for us in both fights. Our 2 goes ahead, skill 1 kills the Ravi. This is forcing him, because his Ruel is up after this, he's got to make a decision. Who does he want to save? He can only save one person. He can either revive the Ravi or he can use the revive now, but on the Rylet. So he decides to revive the Ravi, which means we can easily kill the Rylet. We do crit, but it didn't matter. He was going to die anyway. It does end up giving us an extra 1500 damage into the Ruel. We're one turn away from max stacks on our Chu. So I decide instead of going skill 2, I just go skill 1. Also, there's the anti-crit there, so I figured it wasn't worth it. We keep doing a little bit of fluff damage. At this point, it's just really a matter of time. It's going to be really hard for him as Ravi to solo both Chu and SSB. So, and he's already just used his revive. I want to make sure I got a crit there, got as much damage as possible, so we went into the DN. The Ravi does get the crit here on the Chu, misses on the SSB, but only gets the one stun. It also procs our SSB counter, which does a lot of damage to him, bringing his DN really low and his Ruel really low. He burns into his skill 1. And now we are max stacks on the Chu, and we have souls, so we can burn into her skill 2 on the Ruel, killing the Ruel. And now we're pretty much guaranteed to win, even with the crit buff. Ravi, the odds of Ravi bringing this back against two tanks and 2 fire units are not good. We go ahead with our strip. We land the crit on the DN, but of course we miss on the Ravi. Um, that DN just barely hanging on is able to cleanse. So we lose our defense break. He attacks into the Alencia, killing the Aureus holder in Cecilia, but does proc Mind's Eye. We get our defense break, and then the crit into the defense break, which is really nice, killing the DN. And now we can put up anti crit, give ourselves a couple of stacks. And we're just kind of waiting it out at this point. He obviously plays it out because Ravi does have the ability to solo. Also, if she gets souls, it's very scary. She gets her skill 3 off again. But it does trigger our counter. And we get the defense break. And we can just burn into choose skill 2 again. And he just gives up. So we tie things back up again. And now we're in for a very interesting third fight. With him winning the first one when we cleaved, us easily winning the second one when we bruisered. Now I want to go back to the cleave. Trying to catch him off guard. He's thinking bruiser. Um, I go ahead and stick with the same ban. I do know that he has Crow. I considered going back with bruiser here at this point. I was like doubting my strategy because I was like, well, we did that so easily. He really doesn't have a way to counter our bruiser team. Um, but I decided to go with the cleave anyway. I pre-ban his Sid. I mean, once I pick the Litica, he knows I'm cleaving. But I pre-ban the Sid, which works out perfect because he decided to ban our Alencia, which is kind of funny because he obviously he knew the Alencia was going to give him problems with that. So we catch him off guard there, and now he knows we're going cleave. So we have to see what he's going to do. And we already banned the Sid, which is his main counter cleave unit. He goes with the Rylet, which I don't mind. And then he steals the Oxlots. And now we have a decision to make. Do we go Cerise or do we go Bruiser? And I instantly switch over. I was so excited to see that Oxlots. I was like, all right, you're dead. Um, the second he goes Oxlots, he's gone super squishy, and I can tank right up because I've got the double Cecilias. And now he's in a tough spot. He really has no way to get through that. And normally they have to ban the Litica here, so I don't mind Rylet Arby into double Cecilia at all. I can tank that pretty easily. He does go ahead with the Isaiah, who I am a little scared of. I'm not overly happy about the buff block, especially because I'm relying on double skill prevent and immunity. He goes with Water Kize. We do have to be a little aware of her going into stealth, but we have all three of our units so far have AoEs, so I'm not overly worried there. I go back with the Chu again. She did wonders for us in the first fight. And now I'm debating who I want to go with last. Do I want to go with some sustain, or do I want to go with another bruiser? I decided to kind of go off the board here, and he's got all single target outside of the Izaria. So my game plan is to ban the Izaria. I pick the Spectre, and he goes with the Angelica. I don't have any revives, but he does get the team up procs there and the speed buff and attack buff on the Angelica, which is an interesting pick. But he does have to ban our Litica because he doesn't want us to get first turn and put up all our buffs. So because of that, we do get our Spectre through into all single target attackers, and I think we just win this one in the draft. I think he gets hard out drafted here. Like he has no way to get through our stuff. He gets his buffs off, of course, and his Kize is going to go next. It's a fast Kize. I'm a little concerned that his Kize is faster than his Oxlots because he is going to be able to go skill 3 and then Oxlots into her into skill 2. But I have Aureus and Adamant on my double Cecilias, and I'm pretty confident, even though there was a little doubt, I'm pretty confident that there's no way he's going to kill Spectre, and as long as Spectre lives, I'm pretty sure I win this. So he does exactly that. Excuse me. Reboosts into his Kize, but we have the shield plus the double damage reduction. He only gets 4k damage. Kills the Cecilia, but really all we needed was for Spectre to live. We do lose our Aureus, so this does more damage than it normally would. Almost killing her, actually. And this actually looks really bad at this point, because he almost killed 2 units, and the third one is really low. But he still has no way to kill our Spectre. We have back-to-back skill 3s here, putting up skill prevent and anti-crit. We take the Kize out of stealth, most importantly. And we drop his entire team to half health. I know some people expected me to try and kill Rylet here, but I think it was more important to get 2 kills, one on the unit that could go into stealth because we couldn't take her out again, and 2 to try and get the pushback here. We really want the pushback on the Rylet and on the Angelica. Unfortunately, they both resisted. The Angelica and the Rylet both resist the Spectre pushback. She's got 90 effectiveness. So I was a little mad about that. He does have to go into skill prevent though, so this does no damage. Goes into skill prevent again. She lives again. At this point, I don't have any souls, so I was debating hitting Angelica with the skill 2 and waiting another turn. But I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to kill us, and we're not going to get our skill 2 off. So I decided to just hit him. He does counter into her, which is really bad, because she's the only one without skill prevent. If he would have hit into Spectre or into Cecilia, we would have had skill prevent. But it doesn't matter. We go ahead, just start poking him. He can't do anything right now. Um, he's going to get 2 attacks here into my Cecilia, but has really no chance of killing her, especially because it's only skill 1s. We go ahead, knock over the Angelica. He skill 1s again. And now we have max stacks on our Tenebria, and that's going to be that. So, like I said, pretty confident that he really had no chance to win that fight, even though it started off kind of rough for us. But I thought that was really interesting, sort of show of how tournaments are so much different from ladder play. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I do have to get going and start up my own stream again. So hopefully everybody has a great day, and we will see you all next time. Bye for now, guys.